Hey, welcome in, fans, to another episode of the Two Line Pass podcast. I'm Randon. Here with me, as always, Dustin and Ryan. Dustin, Ryan, the vibes are low. Vibes are low. But how you feeling tonight?
I'm sad. My car blew up. My car is completely kaput, and it's like a microcosm of what's happening for the Utah Mammoth. Like, my car blows up on the side of the road, take it to a mechanic. The mechanic's like, it's completely shot. You can't have this car anymore. So I have to go buy a new one, which feels like Utah Mammoth right now. They're completely kaput, and we have to buy a new something, but it's not going to work.
Well, I'm definitely higher up than Dustin is today, and I'm probably higher than you, but still pretty low about the team. It hasn't been a fun few days. They have about as much confidence as, I don't know, first time at a Sadie Hawkins dance as a 13-year-old boy, you know? Like, they have zero confidence out there.
Yeah, all they got to do is get a chaperone out there and lead them into the center of the gymnasium and say, hey, guys, look at all those gals over there. Take them by the hand and just start dancing. Leave room for Jesus, though. Guys, it was a horrible November, catastrophically bad. We are the worst team in the NHL in the month of November, and it did not get off to a great start in December. Here we are thinking that December would cure what ails us. We can put November in the rearview mirror. And we've got the San Jose Sharks, another up-and-coming team, a team that we're ahead in the standings. We can start to put some distance ahead of us and them in the wild card race. And then they completely boat race us. And even though in the first period it kind of looked close for a minute, this result was never in doubt. The team had no heart, no soul. There were so many glaring mistakes. Like, we're used to seeing small mistakes here and there, and sometimes those mistakes turn into big points in the other direction. But this was every single player making mistakes. Vejmelka got chased, 3 goals, 9 shots. Vanacek wasn't much better. He finishes out the game and allows 3 goals. Sergachev was bad. The rest of the defensemen were bad. Our top 6 were bad. JJ Peterka wasn't bad. Lawson Krause wasn't bad. But everybody else was just flat out bad, continuing
Michael
the trend
Carcone
of
wasn't bad.
November. Michael Carcone had that one great play. I will give him that.
Better than the other guys. At least he had a great play.
That's true.
I mean, we had one good play from our top 6, and it was that Peterka laser from basically on the line. It's just, where is our top 6? And honestly, right now, I don't know who our top 6 is, because Andre Tierney, Mr. Just throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks, switched up the lines again. And guess what? When we come back Wednesday against the Ducks, guess what's changed up again, because we called up Daniil But. More line changes are coming. Just like, it feels like Freaky Friday, like not Freaky Friday. It feels like
Groundhog's Day.
Where it's just this, like, we're living through the same damn nightmare every single time. Like, I'm just looking at our schedule. We went on this glorious 7-game win streak to get to 8-2-0. And we're like, we put ourselves at, like, I think 3 in our power rankings, and people are tweeting the, like, playoff standings, like, oh, look who's at the top. And we have won 4 games since then. 4 games since October 26th. And we've probably ran out 10 different line combinations since that day, because just if something's not working, throw it away. And then I think was it the Dallas game where, like, we were scoring, but then we didn't score in the second period, so Tierney switched things up. It's like, even when it worked, well, it didn't work for the second period, so let's mix it all up again. It's like playing fucking Boggle. It's just like, shake it up and see who comes out on these lines this time. It's infuriating. And I feel like it's too early for me to go on my fire Tierney rant, but it angers my blood.
There will be plenty of time to call for Tierney's head, I assure you that. It's kind of funny if you look at it like, so Ryan, you can kind of attest to this. You look back at, like, like forward matchups. I think traditionally in hockey, at least the way I viewed it, you look at like your D-men matchup, right? Like which two defenders are you going to play against their top forwards and stuff. And now it's kind of evolved to a forward against forward matchup. Defensively, you look back, the case in point of this, that it's the most obvious, just how effective Barkov was at shutting down McDavid in the Stanley Cup Finals. And so you see sometimes like these forward on forward matchups to get the better defensive matchup, and then you can let your line depth steal the show. Well, Utah doesn't really change their lineups to get good matchups defensively. At least I don't feel that way. I don't know how you listeners feel, but I'm not seeing these adjustments being made from a defensive perspective. It's like, my top guys aren't scoring at the rate I want them to. Let's change the lines to see if we can get them going. And the one thing they're missing is consistency, and it's really starting to show. But if you didn't think it was bad, I want to play you the clip of Lawson Krause's interview from last night. Lawson Krause, great game from him. He had another great goal. He's really turning it on. He's got half as many points as he did last season in a fourth of the time. We couldn't ask for much more from our guy Lawson Krause in terms of the opportunities he's getting. But I want to play for you the interview, and you just tell me if this is a team that has confidence, consistency, and is in a good headspace. Let's take a look and see what Lawson Krause had to say.
Thoughts, takeaways from that one?
Yeah, everyone needs to be better, top down.
As far as leadership goes, obviously, I know it's not a consolation. You have 2 goals tonight. How important is it to be a leader by example?
Doesn't matter. Need to be better, everyone.
Okay, you guys need to clean up the turnovers and the interest on that kind of fed their offense tonight.
I think when it comes down to winning battles, I think that's what we need to get to.
Thanks, Krause.
That's awesome.
SEG Media with the post-game interview with Lawson Krause. The media members can't even believe it. I think they were stunned by his directness, not even temper, but just being short, direct, and you can see it. If that doesn't show you what the mentality of this team is right now, you can't tell me that Lawson Krause is the only one feeling. But Dustin, you'd not seen that interview yet. How did it make you feel?
And I hadn't seen that yet. I see from Lawson Krause in that clip, like a passion, like he wants the whole team to be better. He has higher expectations of himself and his teammates. And he's trying to say like, hey, send a message through the media if he has to, like, we have to be better. All of us, top down, forwards, defensemen, we all have to be better. And he's trying to communicate a message to the team. And it seems like Tyranny's just like, no, we'll see what happens. I don't know if Tyranny's checked out because he knows like the end is coming, or if he just feels like he's completely lost the locker room, which is something that I saw last night for the first time this season. I saw multiple people, even like I think SLC Puck was one of them, that like covers this team, that said, yeah, this feels like Tyranny has lost this locker room, especially from guys like Schmidt and Sergachev, the guys that have won cups before. Like they feel like they've checked out from this team and from this coaching staff, which again, I firmly believe the team needs to move on, but like just to see that passion from Lawson Krause and just anger about expecting more and not getting more, while you juxtapose that against what we're seeing from Bear, is I think the most damning thing about those two different comments.
One thing I do want to, did you see Buffalo beat Winnipeg yesterday, 5-1?
Mm-hmm.
It was a decent game. Winnipeg didn't look terrible. I watched a lot of the game. They looked fine. They look a little out of place without Hellebuck, but everybody kind of knew that. But after that game, Winnipeg players held a closed-door meeting. Scott Arnell wasn't around, and he even told the media they had a meeting to talk about whatever the is going on with them. Is that happening in Utah? No. Should. Somebody should be doing something. When you have how many guys who've won a cup on the team? 4? Something like that? Somebody do something. Somebody sit down, somebody, and say something. But none of you are doing anything. There's no confidence. There's no leadership. Like, Keller wears the C, and I know he's going through it right now, so I'm not going to hold him accountable. But the other guys who do wear a letter, I will be holding accountable, because when your captain can't do it, you're supposed to. And none of them are doing it.
Absolutely. I wonder if, too, if Ian Cole's comments, we always kind of thought about it as from a perspective of the coaches talking, too. But we hear a lot of Ian Cole's post-game interviews where they're not quite as short and direct as Lawson Krause, but they're pretty passionate in the same manner of saying, we can talk about it all we want. We've got to go out and actually do it. But I do wonder, like, how much are they talking amongst themselves about what they need to do versus being told from the coach what they need to do? And I wonder if there's current battles between the veterans and the young guys as to basically who's this team for. Do the veterans have a role on this team, or is the entire goal of the season to make sure that Logan Cooley, JJ Peterka, and Dylan Guenther get better? And if those three people get better, that's all that matters, because they are the young guys who will be here in 6 years, and they're what matter. But then you've got all the veterans who are like, well, we're still NHL players. We still want to be here. We still want to do things. They're trying to do things. Lawson Krause, to his credit, has stepped up immensely and is trying his best to will this team to win. But unfortunately, he doesn't have the ceiling skill level like a Keller, Cooley, Guenther to put the team on his back and go. But by God, he's trying. But it's really tough if you constantly have to play with new lines. And so you guys brought up the Turney comments, and if you guys haven't seen it, another clip from SCG Media, I want to play Turney's postgame, just the first little snippet, and talk about that, because we could speculate for days, and I intend to, about what was said here. Take a look.
Very disappointed about our effort. Our execution right now as a team is not really good. We understand that, and those are time happen in the league, but we need to be stronger than that mentally, and we need to work way harder than that. Win more loose puck battle and everything, and that is all on all of us. It's on us as a coach to make sure the team is ready to work first. That's the number one thing, and I fell on that today.
How does accountability in that room factor into whatever happens next?
You will see.
First, I want to say thank you, Turney. I've been saying all season, take some goddamn accountability, and he did. Thank you for that. But otherwise, guys, how many times have we heard Turney say, we're not executing, everything's great, but we're not executing, and we just got to get over the mental hump and execute, and then everything will be fine?
All that was a coach saying what everybody needs to. You know what I mean? You're just saying the right things. You're just going down the checklist and saying the things. Oh, we need to win puck battles. Oh, we need to be stronger, man. Shut the up and do something.
I've made this comparison before, but I will go back to it. But it makes me think back to when Quinn Snyder was here in Utah, and he was the coach of the Jazz, and the Jazz weren't performing. I believe it was a game against like the Warriors or something like that, and they were just kind of lackadaisical up and down the floor, not playing with effort, whatever. And he took a timeout just to yell at the team, like just strictly just to yell at them. And he like yelled like anger, like furious, like so you just like caught somebody breaking into your car, like wake up, like just like angry, like yelling at them. And I don't know if like maybe that's just not the type of coach that Andre Tierney is, but I don't see like that passion from him, like that anger, like that, like Shorzy talking to Fish saying you either score a goal or you're off the team. Like we have no place for shooters who don't score, right? I don't see that from him, and I don't know if that's a problem, if that's not his coaching style, but like he seems to like, no, we need to do this, we need to do that, but I don't know what I'm going to do if they don't start doing that. I don't know how to get them to do it, and I don't know what I'm going to do if they don't do it. So I'll just point this out and say, hey guys, like I'd really like it if you did this. It feels kind of like a therapy session, right? Like they're sitting in there talking to a therapist on a couch, and he's like, well, I just, like, he's talking to the therapist. Like, I just feel like, when we're going into the corner and there's a loose puck, I just feel like he's not giving full effort into winning that puck. And then the therapist looks back and says, well, Nick Schmaltz, how does that make you feel? He's like, oh, well, I don't know. I feel like I'm playing with effort. And then, like, Andre starts to get mad. He's like, wait, whoa. We're in the tree of trust, remember? No angry, no yelling. We're gonna talk through this, and like, it's not gonna solve anything in hockey. So just like I want to see some form of passion from somebody that's not in Cole or Lawson Krause talking in the post game about, yep, we need to be better. And I would love to see it from any of our top 6 guys. I would love to see JJ Peterka with the camera in his face saying like, look, I scored 2 goals against this damn San Jose team in the third period to get us back into it, and my teammates just crap down their leg. I want some help. I want somebody else to take the scoring. Like, I wanted somebody else to take this load. I can't do it every single game. Somebody else step up and score with me. And like, I want to see passion in some form from someone.
Maybe we need to see a fight at practice. You see a couple of those scrums, especially in the preseason,
It's
go
a
out.
great way to spark
Right? Get the juices flowing, right? A little healthy rivalry in the team never hurt anybody. Now, obviously, you got Pete DeBoer, who threw Ottinger under the bus, cost him his coaching career, talking to the media. But I still, to this day, believe that Pete was being honest. And so I wonder how many other people are not giving us their honest feelings because they're afraid of breaking some team chemistry, which we're not seeing, guys. We don't believe this team has any chemistry at all to break. So just let it fly. Let it fly. Tell us who's not producing top to bottom. Who are you talking about, Lawson? Who are you talking about? Who specifically needs to produce better? Turney, who needs to execute better? Because right now it kind of seems like he was also putting that out there. Like when GMBA asks him, hey, really feel like I'm going to fire you right now. And Andre says, well, I can't play the game. Right? It's up to the players to play the game, and they've got to execute. And if they can't execute, what else can I do? I've given them everything. But they're the ones who aren't executing, and then that's like his defense of it all. But then he talks about accountability, right? Sarah Merrifield with this great question. I don't even know what she was trying to ask in terms of like, did she understand the subtext of like, hey, the biggest person who needs to be held accountable is you. Do you think you're going to get fired? And he says, well, we'll see. Or if it was simply like, who are you going to hold accountable on the team? Because right now, I'll be honest, it seems like the only person who's accountable for their poor play is Logan Cooley. Logan Cooley consistently gets benched, so I don't know if Logan Cooley gets lippy with coach when coach tells him, hey, that was a bad line change or that was a bad shift, and Logan Cooley gives it right back, and that's what gets him benched. He sincerely believes that benching Cooley is in his best interest when Sergachev can go lollygag around the ice, poor turnovers, these weird try to clear the puck at all costs, but it's so lazy it's not even funny. Like, I don't know, but he didn't get benched. Not once. He didn't lose a minute of playing time from it. And you know who got the shaft? Simashev, who had played okay. You know, like I called that Simashev wasn't going to be there in game 15. I was wrong. Simashev played much better than I expected him to. But here Simashev is now in the AHL, and I doubt we see him for the rest of the year. Unless we suffer an injury on defense, I do not believe that there is a world where Dmitry Simashev comes back as long as all of our D-men are healthy, especially with the way DeSimone is playing. So he's gone now, and now you've got Daniil But, who comes up and who's going to just either inject so much raw talent into this team that everything gets sparked, or he's going to throw everything to a loop because, Dustin, you said it. Guess what's going to happen? Line changes again. GMBA was on the radio today, and he said that the line's going to be Cooley, Gunther, and But. And where does that leave everybody else? Is Schmaltz staying up? What happens with those 4 guys? Keller, Hayton, Schmaltz, and Peterka. You can only fit 3 of them on line 1. One of them has to go to line 3 because you're assuming that the new kid line, which is an even younger kid line than the Peterka line, that new kid line is still going to be your line 2. But all of this, guys, just so Turney can shoehorn Liam O'Brien back into the lineup, because you're going to move Yamamoto down to the 4th line and be like, well, he doesn't really contribute on the 4th line. Liam O'Brien's in there. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words. This is all just a ruse to get Liam O'Brien back in the lineup.
Who knows? Like, he has 1 goal this season, right? And he's played 8 games. 1 goal in 8 games. Just going down, just doing some research off to the side right here. Nick Schmaltz hasn't scored in 10 games. Clayton Keller, like I'm gonna give him a slight pass because I know he's going through a lot right now. So I don't want to necessarily throw Clayton Keller under the bus, but he's scored 1 goal in our last 10, and Gunther has scored 1 goal in our last 8. That's as productive as Liam O'Brien right there. Like, some of it is worse. 1 goal out of 10 for Clayton Keller is worse than the rate of production that we're getting from Liam O'Brien on the season. And they are better than this. And I will tie this into, since I'm talking about how much this team is better than what they're giving us. This is another stat that I saw last night during the game that SLC Puck threw out there. But we had 3 power plays last night as we're recording this, last night against the Sharks. And in the first minute of those 3 power plays, we didn't generate a single shot on goal. Like, that is our power play 1. That is supposed to be our best goal scorers, our best players. And in 3 minutes worth of power play time, they can't generate a single shot on goal. Like, forget generating goals. They can't even shoot the puck. They can't get the puck into the offensive zone. It was infuriating last night to watch the 2 different power plays. Like, San Jose gets the puck into the zone. And Utah, to their credit, they're really good at the penalty kill, and they were shutting down passing lanes. And one thing they were really good at last night was when passes came across in front of the crease, trying to go from one side to the other, they were active with their sticks and knocked a lot of those pucks away and cleared a lot of those pucks. But, like, they're in the zone, and they're at least set up in our power play trying to find their shot. Whereas Utah can't even get the puck into the zone to generate a shot. And that's, again, I want to talk about something other than changing coaches in this episode, but that's coaching. Like, this team is good enough and skilled enough. They should be able to do something as simple as getting a puck into a zone and generating a shot. Like, how do you fix that other than changing the guys who are telling the team what to do?
Yeah, the power play is, can we just start denying penalties like in football? Is that a thing? Like, can we make that a new rule in the CBA?
How about we
The
just,
CBA comes up next year.
anytime we get a power play, give it to the other team, because we're better at scoring shorthanded than we are on the power play right now.
Yeah, that's just sad. But I feel like even when you see the players on the ice, like when the camera pans to them as they're all just kind of skating around between the whistles and stuff, none of them look like they're enjoying hockey. And yeah, I bet it's hard to enjoy hockey when you're losing 6-2 to San Jose, but like, you weren't losing 6-2. It didn't start 6-2. You guys looked okay in the first 5 minutes of the game. You know what I mean? Like, this team just, as soon as one thing happens, it's all downhill from there. They're like, I don't know how to coach confidence and how to coach like resilience, but this team doesn't have it, or any of it.
Well, I'll tell you, if I hear the only way out is through one more time, I'm going to lose it. Like, that can't be our answer for everything. Our answer can't just simply be, let's wait it out. Let's wait it out and hope it gets better. I do wonder, though, if our power play was even slightly better in the month of November, because now we are dead last. Like, even if you account for our winning streak, we are dead last in power play percentage in the NHL. So all the goodwill that we generated, which wasn't a lot, mind you, in the month of October, completely washed away by November. But there were winnable games that if you just convert a little bit of that power play time into a goal, the outcome may be different. The New York Islanders game, that may have been different. The Montreal game may have been different. You could argue that the Tampa Bay and the Toronto game maybe not different, but maybe those games are a little different if you can just produce one single power play goal. And now we're talking about, instead of being dead last in the month of November, we're talking about being middle of the pack. But you know what middle of the pack in November gets you? 4 or 5 points ahead of the next closest wild card team. Because right now, I worry that the wild card is like the new best case scenario for the team, where that was our baseline expectation. Right? Like, the 8th seed was our baseline, that it was like, that is what you absolutely should get. And then it's a question of, can you sneak into that 3rd spot in the Central? Now, we're never catching Colorado. We're never catching Dallas. Minnesota's on a heater, and they seem to have found their goalie of the future. And then, by the way, he's backed up by a pretty good guy who was their initial starter. So I don't see us catching Minnesota. So now your best hope is that 7th and 8th seed. And right now, you are competing with San Jose for a wild card spot, and you are losing to San Jose. And you're not only losing to them, you're getting embarrassed by them. And that's what hurts the most.
And going back to your, like, if you're able to generate some power play goals in some of these games, where are you standing? 6 of our last 8 losses have been 1-goal games, and 3 of those are in overtime. Like, if you just generate a power play goal per game, like, you're winning the ones that went to overtime, and you're at least getting to overtime in the ones where it didn't. Like, granted, you score an extra goal in the power play, things about the game are going to change. Like, you can't just go back and say, well, if we would have scored 1 more goal in this one, then we're going to overtime. If we would have scored 1 more goal in this one, then we win. Stuff changes. But, like, just a slight, like, just a game, like, it's going to be one of those things at the end of the season when we're looking back. Like, we talked about this last year with, like, the lead that we blew to San Jose in the third period, where we're like, if we look back at this and we finish 1-2 points out of a wild card spot, like, this is going to be like what we look back to and point to. And if we finish outside of the playoffs again with this roster, it's going to be looking back to these 1-goal games where we couldn't generate any power play goals. That is, like, there's a lot with this team that needs to be fixed, but power play is top of the list because you have to be able to score, or at least put together some semblance of a threat to score when you have a man advantage. And right now, it doesn't matter if we have a man advantage because they have a skater off, or if we have a man advantage because we put an extra skater on. We can't score with a man advantage, but we can score 5-on-5. So it's not a problem of the team and the players and the skill that they have, but it needs to be fixed as soon as possible. And I don't know if that's just change who runs the power play on the bench. Just change something. I don't even care if you fire a coach to do it. Change something other than, oh, well, let's put Stenlund on power play 1 and see how that works. And we'll put this guy here. We'll put that guy there. Change the whole entire thing, like, completely on its head. What we do with that, like, drop it back to somebody speeding up, and then just, like, spend one power play just dumping the puck in and chasing it. Don't try to bring it across the blue. Just dump it up, dump it in, chase it, and try to establish possession that way. Do something completely different. That's all. Just complete, and do it with power play 2. Switch everything up. Power play 2, go out there and can dump it and go chase it and get the puck, establish possession, and then shoot the damn puck. Like, just change all of it because it's broken beyond belief. Change it.
Daniil But may be the spark that we need, because he's got 17 points in 19 games. 5 of those are on the power play. And by all accounts, he's going to be on the power play. So maybe that's what changes it.
I just don't understand how a power play that has either Sean Dursey or Mikhail Sergachev, Logan Cooley, JJ Peterka, Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, and Barrett Hayden, and we can't score a single goal. You have legitimately 5 potential 30 goals, minimum 20, possible like 3 or 4 30-goal scorers. Not one guy can find the back of the net once. That's insane.
But they can do it 5-on-5. How can you score 5-on-5, but with a man advantage, you can't even get a shot on goal? It makes no damn sense at all.
Have we even scored a goal with with the extra attacker from pulling the goalie? Are we still scoreless with that?
We were the only team last year who didn't, and we still haven't this year.
Yeah, that right there, something's got to change, man. Like, how are you an NHL team with 6 guys?
We pull our goalie off, and coach sends out Stenlund. Why are we sending Stenlund out to try and score with an extra man? Put a goal scorer out there. We don't need to win face-offs that badly when we're
Put
pulling our
Nate
goalie.
Schmidt out there.
Because when we go to a face-off, we bring the goalie back in until we establish possession and then take him back off. Stop putting Stenlin out there.
My first move as a coach is I would make Nate Schmidt my extra attack. Just nobody would see it coming. No one would have any idea what was happening. It would be perfect.
He's got assists. He's picking up the apples. He's gaining on Sergachev. And if Sergachev keeps playing lazily the way he is, Schmidt might catch him. But would it be time? Is it time for 5 forwards on the power play? What you got?
No.
Vegas runs that?
5 defensemen. 5
defensemen.
defensemen.
No.
Really shake it. Really show the league. We have no hope
Sergachev.
left.
You go Schmidt, Sergachev, DeSimone,
Marino.
because he can score. Marino and
Stenlin and
Cole if you want
Tanev.
like a defensive defenseman.
And then Tanev, because he doesn't have a goal yet.
Tanev might as well be a
hasn't done
defenseman.
anything.
Except fall down in front of who was it last night that dangled him out of his damn skates, and he just
Will
fell
Smith.
Will
down.
Smith.
Will Smith.
Well, Smith, that was nothing anybody could
That
have
was
done on that one, I don't think.
I can't fault Tanev too much for that one because that was an outstanding stick handling. But yeah,
Tanev better fight
everything about
somebody,
last night
or
was just ugly.
Tanev's got to start laying hits that I'm like in my seat at home going, ooh, I felt that one. That's what I expected out of
legitimately
Tanev.
think Turney has told everybody that, hey, we are not a physical team. We are not going to finish checks. We're not going to get in scrums. We're not going to do anything. And then Logan Cooley has to be like, nah, I don't care. I'm going to defend myself, I guess. And I'm going to get some extra shots in. And I'm just calling it now. At some point in the next 21 years in the NHL, Logan Cooley and Macklin Celebrini are going to beat the absolute brakes off of each other. And I am going to laugh the entire time.
I thought they were going to last night. There was a session, right? There was one segment last night where I think it was in front of, it would have been Vanacek at that point, but Cooley was just pop, 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 pop. Like, I want to fight you right now. Just like,
They are
let's
both
go.
hot-headed.
And just, I would love to see that.
You know, everybody was joking on social media about how it's a good thing we no longer play the San Jose Sharks, but then we lose that opportunity because that is a prime time. You put that on pay-per-view.
It's going to be a sick rivalry.
Yeah.
The two of them going at it for the next 20 years is going to be incredible.
You're going to put that on the pay-per-view, and we're going to watch it on the socials over and over and over because you just know it's going to be one of those where they each throw 30 punches. Nobody goes down because they probably are high.
Defense.
No, and it's just going to be whoever gets the guy off balance first is going to win the fight, but it's going to be a top-rated fight on hockeyfights.com. It's going to be incredible.
Do you remember when Kachuk fought Pasternak at Game 7 when they both came out of the penalty box? It's going to be like that, where it's just all hell's going to break loose, and it's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be a real Donnybrook.
It'll be like watching a straw weight boxing match where they're putting everything in, just pop, 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 but they weigh 110 pounds, so you never see a knockout at that level. It's just all like, we just need to let them go 3 rounds, judges decide who wins, and then like just make it a whole event.
100% accuracy with 10% power.
Ooh, here we go. Cooley, Celebrini, in a 3-round celebrity boxing match, and all of the undercards are Utah Mammoth like defensemen against forwards, so that they breed a little bit of like, just for every like missed shift, for every time a defenseman didn't stay home and gave up a breakaway, for every time like somebody sent a bad pass around, or like a way like somebody couldn't keep a puck in on the power play, just every punch has that anger in it, and it heals the team by beating the shit out of them, like we were talking about earlier, a fight in practice, but just we schedule it and we make it happen rather than hoping it happens naturally in practice. We make them all fight. Plus, we get Cooley
Peterka versus Sergachev is going to be hard. Like, that's going to be such a fun fight for the World War II vibes. We can pitch it. Oh, it'll be great.
You know what? Peterka would win the fight and then express nothing. Emotionless.
I don't
no
think he
joy,
knows how.
no sadness.
I'm fairly confident the German experience of life is to not show emotion. Like, it's my favorite when he scores.
you score the goal that he scored and then nothing, like, because that was at the time, it seemed like it was one of those like, oh my God, we have a game again. Like, you can show emotion, Peterka. That's a big time goal. Not only was it an incredible shot in the one place you could possibly put it, and then you just show nothing. Business as usual. This is just what I do. Thanks for coming out. I'm John
The
Jacob
most
Jingleheimer. Peterka.
celebration I've ever seen out of him is he scored an OT winner in Buffalo, and he just smiled. He was just like, as everybody was mobbing him, and it was like, come on, buddy. You can do a fist pump. You can do something. Put the stick in the air. Do something. Just got to turn around and...
Maybe we need Ryan Smith to be rinkside every game so that Peterka can score and do when he did his skate up against the glass, and he's got his arms spread, which is like an iconic picture of the season. Those were the days, boys. Those were the days. Long gone they are.
A month ago.
Speaking of, did you guys catch on the SCG broadcast, they were doing a little comparison of like the team statistics in October versus the team statistics in November, and they kind of pulled some shenanigans statistics, which I think SEG Media loves to do. They pull these shenanigans statistics to make the Mammoth feel better about themselves. They did it a lot last year. But this year, they were doing the comparison, right? And a lot of the underlying important statistics were almost identical or improved in November. The most concerning of which, we were 6th in the NHL in offensive zone possession time in the month of November. If you could believe it. 6th in the NHL in offensive zone possession. And if that doesn't show you how ineffective we are in the offensive zone, because I guarantee you that if you looked at it, our shots per minute of offensive zone time has to be one of the lowest in the league. Because all we do in the offensive zone is pass it around, or we're trying to get these cycle chances to work, and they just aren't. And it was concerning because they were trying to make the point about how much worse the team was in November. And to me, it was like, they're kind of the same team. So what's going wrong? And the only explanation, my friends, is the head coach.
It's not the only problem. We do have, and it's getting bigger by the game, it seems, a big goaltending problem. It's coaching and goaltending. And I love Veggie. Like, I am on record as I do not and have not ever and probably will never believe in Vanacek as a goalie. But Veggie, it's a problem. It's becoming
Absolutely.
a big problem.
It's funny because Turney's actually done what we asked him, and he's starting Veggie at a very high clip. In fact, Veggie has the second most starts in the NHL, next only New York Rangers Igor Shesterkin. He's got 20 starts, and outside of those wins in October, like, the wins have been few and far between. Statistically, we've talked at length about this. He's statistically bad because of the way the defense plays in front of him. But we had hoped, right, that the Veggie that we saw last year could come in this year and just take us over that hump. And we said in our very first episode this season, fair or unfair, right or wrong, the entire season hinges on how Karel Vejmelka plays. And unfortunately, right now, he does not seem to be up to the tasks this early in the season. And I wouldn't be shocked with the way that Vanacek's playing. I wouldn't be shocked if we get into 20 straight starts for Veggie territory soon. It's maybe only the compressed schedule that's saving him, but he did it last season, so I don't know what's stopping, because for as poor as Veggie's been, Vanacek has just been awful. Vanacek has been the bad backup we worried he might be.
Yep.
He is nowhere near the top of his game. And again, it's not all the goalies, but at some point, it's all the goalies,
Yeah. And it's just, like, you look at what Vejmelka has done in his career, and it's like every other year. So his first year with Arizona, the 21-22, he's below 90%. And then the next year, he's at 90% save percentage. And the next year, he's below 90. And then last year, he was above 90. And this year, by almost two percentage points, is his worst save percentage he's ever had in his career. He's down to 88.5% right now. And before that, his lowest was 89.7. So we're over a full percentage point worse than the worst season he's ever had. But he does kind of do this, like, good this year, a little bit worse the next year. Good this year, a little bit worse. Like, so we are just by that pattern in what's supposed to be his a little bit worse season, but it's worse than his worst. Like, I don't know if it's a head thing. I don't know if because the defense is allowing so few shots on goal that he's not getting into a rhythm, because he does seem like the type of goalie that thrives on not only like starts in a row so he can get into a groove, but maybe like you go all the way back to last year in that Carolina game, like maybe just performs better when you let the other team pepper him. Like you just let him blast away and he finds his groove and he turns into a brick wall. Whereas if he's only shutting down like 8 or 9 shots per period, he's just like, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? Oh, there's one knocked out. Just maybe for a game, let the other team just pepper him with shot after shot after shot and stop trying to limit shots on goal.
Get
But
some
something's got to
confidence.
change.
Get some confidence in him and saves. I was thinking about this too, guys, talking about like goalies, like, okay, maybe I was looking to see, maybe there's a goalie out there, maybe a backup that's ready for a starter. I'm not sure that there is one available that we would want that would be a significant upgrade. I don't know if you guys can think of any names, but that leads me to a question I want to ask you. This season right now, right? You take it where you are right now, okay? Assume no changes. That's right there, right on the cusp of the playoffs. Are you buying to try to make this team better, or are you selling and saying, let's go next?
Sell.
And if they keep playing how they play right now, sell. But I still have this like firm belief that this is a playoff caliber roster, and you can't sell like that. But right now, with the product they're putting on the ice, this isn't a playoff team, and so I'm so torn, because I think if you get the right coach in place, this is a playoff team. But we don't have the right coach in place. I don't know. I don't think the GMBA wants to make a move from Tyranny. Like, he might just be like, let's get through the season. We can make a change in the off season. Like, we can make it a run at a coach who's like, which is surprising for me because I love to talk. I'm at a complete loss for words as to what to do with this team, because it is a good enough roster that they should be in contention for a playoff spot. But since that win streak, we are the worst team in the NHL. And I can't say that it's a playoff roster anymore when they're the worst team in the NHL right now. And so if they keep going at this, like, you have to sell. Just sell, move your veterans to teams who might need them. Move Sergachev, move Schmidt, move Ian Cole, like move all of these guys who can help a contender down the stretch, and just bring up your youth, bring up Tej, bring up Boot, bring everybody up, and just let them get some ice time. And it feels terrible to say that 32-ish% of the way through the season, but it feels like it's over already, and it sucks.
I don't think we should blow up the whole team when I say sell. I just mean move on from like Ian Cole, because a playoff team is going to want him. You could probably move on from Tanev. He hasn't really worked out this year. Get O'Brien the out of here if you can, even if you have to eat the $1 million that he's owed. If Chicago wants an enforcer, see if Bedard needs a terrible bodyguard. I don't know. But this team cannot. The way we're playing, we're not a playoff. If we make it to the playoffs somehow, Dallas is just going to sweep us in 4 games. Winnipeg's just going to sweep us in 4. Colorado, we should not even play the 4 games and just give it to them if we're the 8th seed. I feel like that's the safest bet for our players. But something needs to happen to do, something's got to change. It's been a month of being the worst team in the NHL, and when good teams are bad, they do something to change it. They fix whatever they deem the problem is. I don't know what this team, from Bill Armstrong's point of view, deems is the problem, but I think coaching is the problem.
I will say that I'm mentally prepared for Nick Schmaltz not to be on this team. It's just a matter of what's the return for Nick Schmaltz. Do you trade Nick Schmaltz to try to keep yourself in contention, or do you trade him for assets? Because right now, I don't really want more assets. I'm sorry, because I just don't want it. We've got enough up and coming players that unless you're going full on tank for McKenna, I don't really want to see like Nick Schmaltz go for a late first round, early second round pick type thing. I think you have to bring in somebody, ideally a center, even though I still believe Hayton is not getting the respect he deserves. But we all agree that Hayton's not the long-term 2C. But you bring in a stopgap guy anyway, right? Like I see Ryan O'Reilly's name a lot. Like you're not keeping him longer than 2 years. I mean, what are we even doing? We're trading a guy in his arguably like right in his prime, late 20s, early 30s is right when you still have 6 good years left in you, depending on your skill level. Now, a lot of people are starting to turn on Schmaltz. Maybe he doesn't have that, but I just don't know what they get if they sell, and I want them to sell, but I would rather do a Jazz thing like you're suggesting, Dustin. Just be honest with yourself and say, look, guys, we're going full on build, right? We've got our pieces. All we need to do is get them experience. But be honest about that. Be honest and say, that's what we're doing. Expect some bumps in the road. And don't expect playoffs. Don't, GM Bill Armstrong, don't come on in the preseason and say, this is a playoff team right now. If you're going to do that, just say, no, this is our future playoff team, but right now we're going to suck. And we're going to hope that we're the Sharks and not suck that much. And we're going to hope that we're Montreal and our rebuild never even starts because we're just suddenly good. And that's the type of young guys. And you just hope that you picked winners, and Tej and Denoye and Cole Baudouin and all those guys can be those guys. But before we get out of here, it would be, I think, a disservice to the fans if we didn't talk about firing Turney. It's the talk of the town. Everybody talks about it. I've given up on the dream because if they didn't fire him then, I don't know when they're like, what else are you waiting for? But Brogan Houston wrote an article about it, about why you would fire a head coach. And he said the only reason he would fire a head coach is if he's lost the locker room. And then he listed a list of things which all match what Utah's doing, lack of effort, losing puck battles, all these things that, yeah, he's lost the team. And then he brought up the point that historically NHL coaches have not been fired on road trips. So we have 3 big games coming up on the road. And I'll tell you why they're big games, because 2 of them are against the worst teams in the league. Worse than us, which is surprising. There's only 4 teams worse than us, and we get to play 2 of them, guys. We get to play the Flames and the Canucks. If you drop either of those games, which is a back-to-back, which is if you could try to finagle in the 2 worst teams, you probably don't want them on a back-to-back, which we've historically struggled with. But first you got to get through Anaheim, and then the road trip's done. So are we waiting to go 0-3 on this road trip, and then you can him? But what happens if he goes 2-1? What happens if he loses to the Ducks and beats the Flames and the Canucks? Is he still gone? Guys, this is the question I'm asking you. Sunday, December 7th, a date which will live in infamy. Do we wake up to a Turney-less Utah Mammoth team?
Yes.
I don't know. We should, but I don't know if GMBA wants to fire Tyranny. Like maybe he just has this idea of like we know who we're gonna go after, but we're gonna do it in the off season. We'll give Tyranny the rest of the season to see how it turns out. If we don't make it, then whatever, we'll get our guy in the off season because we don't have an answer for who we're gonna get now. But it just that he's sitting at home, not coaching an NHL team, while Bear is still gainfully employed by an NHL team is infuriating. So, I hope that December 7th or December 9th, I wake up and, hey, we see that graphic come across our Twitter feeds. Not that I relish rooting for somebody to be unemployed, but he's made enough damn money where he doesn't have to worry about it. But I hope so. I hope that it's not coming because we lost to Vancouver and Calgary. But you know what? I mean, at this point, if that's what it takes, fine. I'll take 2 extra losses if it gets me, if that's the result that it gets me.
I think if you go 0-3, there's no explanation. The only thing I could possibly think of, if let's say you go 0-3 to end this road trip, the only thing I could think of is that GM Bill Armstrong and Andre Turney talked, and maybe this conversation happened years ago when Turney was brought in, and GMBA said, listen, I'm signing you for this many years, and I am promising you right now, man to man, whatever happens, whatever expectations may come, you will get to finish out this contract. You have my word as an Armstrong that I will let you finish this contract, because I know, Bill Armstrong, I know that we are in for some rocky seas and it can't all be roses. And I'm willing to see this contract through to its conclusion if you are, type thing. That's maybe the only reason, because otherwise, come out and tell us. Right? Like, come out and tell us, because the fans are demanding. We are a mob in the streets. We've got torches. We've got pitchforks. And we're saying, by God, you better give us this guy's head on a spike. So to alleviate all of that, you can just come out and publicly state, whether it's a press conference or on the radio. Don't talk about how it's a lull in the season and you're going to come back. No, just come back and say, guys, Andre Turney is my guy, and I'm going to see this through to the end. I don't care how bad it gets. He is my guy. He will finish out his contract. You can guarantee that. So, knowing that, come to terms with it as fans and move on. Because guess what we'll do? We'll rabble-rouse for another 24 hours. Then we'll all come to terms with it, but we'll all still go to games. We'll all still buy the merch. We'll all still re-up our season tickets if you've got them. Nobody is canceling their season tickets because Andre Turney is coaching this team. Maybe you don't buy a Smith's ticket package because he's high in his team, but I'm still going to go to the games. You guys are probably still going to go to the games. We're all going to still consume the product. So just come out and tell us that this is, in fact, the product and not to hope for anything different. I think that will go a long way to settle all this down. Dustin, let's finish off with a high note. We posted it on Twitter. We're going to end the episode every time with our favorite segment. We have an award to give away, and by God, I may be the most excited about this award. Take it away.
You say we're going to end the show on a high note, and I'm not entirely sure that this is going out on a high note because of the reasoning. But this week's Nick Schmaltz of the Week award winner, the fan that's listening to my voice right now, is the winner of the Nick Schmaltz of the Week award, because your team was officially the worst team in the NHL for the month of November, and they have not started off December any better. They have won 4 total games since their win streak came to an end, and through it all, you stand steadfast in your fandom of this team and your support of them. You turn on that TV game after game after game, despite knowing, great, we're probably gonna lose again. You still cheer every time the other team commits a penalty, even though you know, great, we're probably not gonna score on this power play. Through it all, you show the tenacity and the commitment and all of the qualities that have made Nick Schmaltz the best number 8 to ever play in the history of the NHL. Those are the qualities that you show, and because of that, you, the fan, except for Broccoli goddamn Brandon, are the Nick Schmaltz of the Week award winner.
Ryan, you are a Nick Schmaltz of the Week award winner. How do you feel?
This is a shocker. Didn't even know I was up for a nomination. I definitely don't have a speech prepared, but I would like to, first of all, thank God. I thank my agent. I thank my mom for always believing in me to be the best Nick Schmaltz award winner I could be.
I didn't think I would be sitting here a Nick Schmaltz of the Week award winner myself, and I got to tell you, it feels phenomenal. If this isn't bulletin board material, I don't know what is. Players, you're going to want this award because I'm sitting on cloud 9. Guys, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
I want to die. Okay, I take it back. That's not my final thought. My final thought is, we're going to turn this around and make the playoffs. I don't care. Proletariat of positivity, that's us. I represent us. We're winning. We're never losing again. We're making the playoffs. We're going to win the Stanley Cup.
Bold prediction. My final thought is it considered progression if a cannibal uses a fork? I think so.
It has to be, right? Guys, these are the hard-hitting things that we'll bring up on this podcast. Everybody out there, thanks so much for joining us on another episode of the Two Line Pass. Maybe we get to stick with Turney. Maybe we all get put out of our misery and he's gone. Either way, we've got some exciting Mammoth hockey coming up. We've got the Ducks. We've got the Canucks. We've got the Flames. 3 winnable games. At least 2 of them are winnable. and we got to get to at least stay in that hunt. Guys, so much for joining me tonight, and everybody out there, have a great night.